And so everyone's killing the Mavs. Like, how do you do this? Blah, blah, blah. I will give them credit in the sense that they know that they're cooked. They know this team sucks. They
And
know that they're not good enough.
they would miss the playoffs or the play-in tournament even if they had won out the 2 games that they tanked.
Right.
As it turned out.
They needed the Thunder would have had to have lost on Sunday.
Zach, can we call out how tasteless it is to take that to the office, the league office? I'd rather shame them than go go tell on somebody.
We know what happened there, right? That's the Knicks. You know why? You know why the Knicks got hit for tampering on Jalen Brunson? Dallas.
Because they tampered on Jalen Brunson.
Well, but everybody tampers, man. Like,
part of me wonders though if this was the league going like, you want to protest games?
Yeah.
But, okay.
No, talking to people, look, I can't outright report this, but talking to people, like, the league office will not really do that shit unless someone files a complaint. Dallas filed a complaint for New York, tamper with Jalen Brunson. And so I guarantee the second the Knicks saw this, like, well, we need an investigation on this. Nothing's going to come of it. But yeah, Dallas knew they were cooked. They know they're not good, right? They have to spend the next, according to Tim McMahon of ESPN, like, they got like a year and they're, until they start worrying about, is Luka going to ask for a trade? Luka's not happy.
Sound like an episode of Billions.
It does, man. The Mavs have had a rough go of it. Jay and I were on AMP the other day, and we were going through the most games played since the Mavs won the championship in 2011. Dwight Powell has played the most games for the Mavs since then. Monte Ellis is top
third. He's third in scoring for them since then.
Yes,
Dwight Powell.
Monte Ellis is top 10 in scoring since then. He's played 2 seasons. He's top 10 in scoring for the Mavs since the championship.
How long ago was this?
Since 2011.
Since they won the shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's been a bad decade plus. They lucked into Luka because the Suns were stupid and didn't get him. The Kings were stupid and didn't get him. And the Hawks were stupid and they traded him. Like, they are not a well-run organization right now. And so, like, they need an overhaul of a lot. They do have to worry about losing Luka. But Mo, like, with this Mavericks thing, how offended are you that they tanked out the final two games? And also, we should add in, it protects their draft pick that would go to the Knicks, assuming, because they're currently 10th. It's top 10 protected, assuming that we don't get some fuckery in the lottery, which actually would be amazing. If one of these teams, 11 through 14, jumps them, then they will lose their pick.
I'm not offended at all. I'm more offended by Portland's blatant tanking through the second half of the season.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. I'm not offended that they tanked the last 2 games of the season. Listen, they should have tanked immediately after they lost those 2 games to Charlotte. They won 2 more games in that process. And really, I'm looking at them going, what the fuck are you doing? Don't even win those games. They should have been tanking before then. I'm not offended. This is just, they're trying to protect the one draft pick. We knew this team was cooked from the beginning. They finished the season winning 2 of 10 out of, they finished the season winning 2 out of their last 10 games of the year. This team was nothing. We knew they were bad after the trade deadline when we looked at them and said they had no defense. It didn't work for them offensively. And Zach, you said, they haven't been well run. I have a lot of questions of if Mark Cuban's even a good owner. We give Cuban a lot of credit, but I don't even know.
Shark Tank, man. He's on Shark Tank. Like, he's on TV.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that works. I mean, like, we give him a lot of credit and he has the feel of a good owner, but it's like, man, everything you watch from this team, since everything you said, Dwight Powell, longest tenured
Dwight Powell's like Mr. Maverick over the last 12 years.
I'm looking at this stuff, just going, go back and look at him letting Steve Nash walk and all of those things. Like, I have a lot of questions of whether Mark Cuban's actually a good owner for a team.
I disagree with you saying you're not offended. I was absolutely offended by this. And it has nothing to do with them tanking.
You can get offended?
It has nothing to do with them tanking because every team tanks. We've seen Damian Lillard get shut down. We've seen the Spurs just go an entire season without even trying to put together a at anyone good on their roster. We have seen an abundant amount of tanking this season alone, never mind the past 10 seasons. The difference here is you have Luka Doncic. You have a generational player on your team, and you fucked it up so badly that you decided tanking the last 2 games was the best idea. You went out and traded for Kyrie Irving. You thought he was the fix. You thought he would be the second guy next to Luka Doncic, and you absolutely fell apart over the second half of the season so badly that you had to tank over the last 2 games of the season, including on Slovenian night when Luka Doncic only played 1 quarter in front of the people from his home.
They were sweating that final shot that could have tied it up too. They were down 3. They put up a 3. They were sweating that thing going in and having gone to overtime.
By the way, next year Slovenia night's going to be much earlier in the season.
Okay. So it's not just about the tanking. It's just like I'm offended by the last year that they've had to bungle the Jalen Brunson situation as badly as they did. First with the lack of an extension, then with just letting him go to New York. Then putting together a roster that was just anyone knew looking at that roster going into this season, they weren't good enough at either end of the court. They bring in Christian Wood, who clearly Jason Kidd was never on board with, not once, and just has defensive holes. They went from a team that was loaded with they played such great defense last season, and that was their identity, was having a great defense, a super sharp defense, a super connected defense, and then having 2 guys in Luka and Jalen Brunson who could make plays off the bounce. They let the defense go, they let Brunson go, and then they made a desperation trade for Kyrie Irving, and they still ended up tanking. So I'm offended by all of it. I'm not offended by the tanking itself. It's just when you have Luka and you have to resort to that, it is pathetic,
embarrassing,
and it says so much about how many things you had to fuck up to get into that place.
I really want the Mavericks to lose this pick, not because I'm anti-Mavericks. I just think it's funny of what the content will be from Cuban complaining. Cuban will go all right, I need to see this lottery process. He'll go full conspiracy on this. And maybe it would be a conspiracy. I don't know. Every time an owner, there's a new owner who buys a bad team, saves them from a bad owner. All of a sudden they get some lottery luck, right? Or they feel aggrieved. Like LeBron leaves Cleveland. All of a sudden they get the number 1 pick for Kyrie. AD wants out of New Orleans. All of a sudden they get Zion Williamson.
Are you saying Wembanyama's going to be with Kevin Durant next year?
No, I'm saying I think he's going to Charlotte because the Hornets sale.
I was going to say I think he's going to San Antonio, but I don't know. We'll see.
If that keeps Pop around him for it.
I mean, I would love LaMelo and Victor.
That would be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun. But I want
Wembanyama and Zach Collins would be hell.
I want Cuban as the Mavs representative on draft lottery night. So when it's announced, I just want him to flip the table over or something when they lose the pick. I want that reaction right away.
No, he's gonna send Theo Pinson or something. Theo Pinson had a triple-double yesterday, by the way.
Weird day.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Can't wait to hear about that on his podcast. What do you think the pick? Oh, dude, it's got a great podcast. What do you think the fix is? Because they don't have a lot of flexibility here. They've kind of painted themselves in a corner where they have to re-sign Kyrie with whatever he wants, and we don't even know if that's a sure thing.
So the real reason why, so I was always pushing for Derek Lively, right? They get the top 10 pick, they get this Tyson Chandler 2.0 agile big that they, can catch lobs and defend. But solely, that's just a piece to dangle for trades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're trying to get better now. They're not no project, anything like that. The number 1 goal is obviously to re-sign Kyrie, but then also, hey, we get this pick. We know that the top 10 is a good one. Let's try to move it. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
In this particular situation, they solely want this, and they solely thought this out just to trade it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, adding a rookie is not going to help this thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But it also, the problem for them going forward, even just in the building of it, and the reason why they kind of have to use this pick to trade it is they still owe the Knicks another pick. They have another pick going out to the Nets for Kyrie. I mean, they're at a certain point where they're going to be limited in what they can do in terms of putting more draft capital into trades. Like they're at a difficult spot. And who do you want on that team? What's a trade chip besides that? Hopefully for them, going to be a top 10 pick. After that, like what's a real trade chip that's going to bring back a piece for them? Like they're going to have to get real creative and get lucky with something. You know, somebody's going to have, maybe it's a sign and trade. Maybe somebody really wants Kyrie so badly they'll do a sign and trade and give up assets. But it's like, it's pretty bleak right now for Dallas. I don't know how you improve this roster.